When it comes to the most charismatic characters in Death Note, Mizamane is undoubtedly one of them. Her petite cute figure paired with her gothic Lolita style has surely made her a fan favorite for many of you watching, but don't be fooled by her stunning looks. After all, she traded for the Shinigami eyes right from the start, and when she gets ruthless, she's willing to kill anyone. Just now, Light Yagami and L received a call at the same time. Learning that Soichiro had a sudden heart attack, the two rushed to the hospital, but fortunately it turned out to be a false alarm. Soichiro had collapsed from sheer exhaustion afterwards. Light confirmed from his father that the young man before him really was L. This allowed Light to immediately lock onto his target, and he decisively volunteered to join the task force. However, this suggestion was quickly rejected by Soichiro, who wanted his son to focus on finishing his studies first. Light immediately voiced his resolve if Kira dared to lay a finger on his father, he would personally see Kira to the executioner's block. This son cannot be Kira on the way back. Light asks L how he can prove that he isn't Kira. He is now desperate to get into the task force. Seeing his frantic eagerness, L's suspicion of Light deepens. Would a normal person be this desperate to clear their name? Still, he didn't dwell on it based on the exchange with Soichiro. The probability of Light being Kira had dropped slightly, so L told him to go home and wait for word until he'd figured things out. Meanwhile, at the TV station headquarters, the editor-in-chief is fretting over ratings when his secretary brings a package. Inside there were 4 videotapes. It turned out to be a threatening letter from Kira. He demanded the TV station broadcast his tapes, otherwise he would kill everyone at the station. How could the editor-in-chief pass up such an exclusive scoop? He immediately aired the first videotape. The incident quickly alerted the task force. To first prove their identity, Kira killed 2 news anchors who spoke out against him. Saying this, L instantly realized Kira was about to deliver a global manifesto and demanded the station stop the broadcast. But even though Matsuda and Aizawa called incessantly, no one at the TV station would pick up. Ukita decided to head straight to the scene. However, when he arrived, the security guards refused to let him in. The enraged Ukita drew his gun, prepared to force his way in. Just like that, Ukita died right before everyone's eyes. Aizawa couldn't take it anymore and turned to rush out for revenge, but he was stopped by L the very next second. Rushing in now would be a suicide mission, L once believed. Kira needed both a name and a face to kill, but now it seems he only needs to see a face to do it. Furthermore, Kira might be lying in wait outside the station, or perhaps monitoring every movement at the entrance via CCTV. Therefore, going there blindly would be a meaningless sacrifice. Although Aizawa's heart was filled with resentment seeing La's tightly clenched fist, he knew he couldn't just act on impulse. Little did they know Soichiro could no longer stand by. Despite his injuries, he furiously drove an ambulance and crashed it straight into the TV station, ordering the editor to stop the tape. The editor prioritizing ratings initially tried to refuse, but in the next second he found himself staring down the barrel of a gun. Faced with Soichiro's ultimatum, the editor-in-chief had no choice but to back down. Learning that it was Soichiro who had stormed in, L immediately called Deputy Director Kitamura, directing him to carry out a secret plan. He then called Soichiro and told him that in 5 minutes he should walk out through the front door in plain sight. This left Soichiro completely stunned. Isn't this just sending me on a suicide mission? But since L had said it, Soichiro decided to trust him for once. As he reached the main gate, he was shocked by the scene before him. Ska, you know what I'm gonna do right now. His surprise, L had used black cloth and a human wall to block all lines of sight, simply to ensure Soichiro could leave the TV station safely. This move served as a defiant response to Kira. The police would fight him to the end. Soon Soichiro returned to the task force headquarters with the tapes. From the remaining tapes, L deduced the demands of the second Kira. If the police agreed to cooperate with Kira, then in addition to increasing daily crime coverage, they must also report minor offenses, even those against the vulnerable. Such incidents should be publicized for Kira to decide on the punishment. Furthermore, to prove their sincerity, L and the police top brass must appear on television together to broadcast a declaration of their willingness to cooperate with Kira. Should the police refuse Kira's demands, he would kill L and the police leadership, labeling them as sacrifices for obstructing the creation of a better world. Meanwhile, Light Yagami was listening intently to the broadcast. It was now clear that the Kira on TV was not him but an imposter. However, he considered himself lucky that ultimately this death note ended up in the hands of a Kira supporter. He deduced that the other party had already acquired the Shinigami eyes. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to kill someone just by seeing their face. The thought of L being killed by this unknown Kira made Light Yagami feel deeply frustrated. Such a despicable method was completely inconsistent with his own ideals as Kira. Furthermore, if this imposter were to be caught, the police might uncover the secrets of the Death Note. Consequently, Light decided to take the initiative and find this imposter himself. Meanwhile, as the task force discussed their strategies, little did they know that a single remark from L would leave them in a cold sweat. I believe this is the work of a second Kira. L deduced the existence of a second Kira because he noticed the recent victims were all minor criminals featured in Women's Weeklies and gossip magazines. This was the complete opposite of Kira's usual modus operandi. Kira had always avoided killing indiscriminately. However, this new Kira was killing just about anyone. Thus, he estimated a 70% probability that a second Kira exists. Facing such dire circumstances, L had to give Soichiro an order, formally invite Light Yagami to join the task force. Despite not being fully cleared of suspicion, Light Yagami unrivaled reasoning skills were exactly the talent they were missing.
Well, what do you think?
Will he be willing to cooperate? It's a risky move, but if it's him, he might find the answer. No, I'm afraid you're mistaken.
Coming up is the analysis of this episode, Light Yagami's declaration at his father's bedside. He perfectly projects the image of a young man devoted to his father and filled with a sense of justice. This not only moves Soichiro, but also lessens L's suspicion to a certain degree. Instead of backing down from L, he takes the initiative to join the investigation. This is an incredibly bold and brilliant strategy, as the most dangerous place is the safest place. Joining the task force allows him to monitor the movements of the police and L in real time, and his eagerness to join the fight against Kira serves as the ultimate proof of his innocence and sense of justice to others. Meanwhile, displays extraordinary insight and strategic thinking in this episode. Amidst the TV station crisis with Yukita's tragic death and Aizawa's fury and thirst for revenge, the situation was nearly out of control, yet L remained exceptionally calm, instantly deducing the key logic. He immediately revised his earlier assessment, concluding that Kira can kill with just a face, and escorted Soichiro away using an incredibly clever maneuver. This demonstrates his rigorous logic and far-sighted strategic planning. Identifying the existence of the second Kira is L's most brilliant intellectual feat in this segment. By analyzing the types of targets, he discovered a fundamental shift, showcasing his extraordinary ability to create psychological profiles through behavioral patterns. Unexpectedly, the second Kira turns out to be a beautiful young girl. But why exactly does she support Kira's actions? Let's find out as the story continues to unfold.